Right then, finally it's time to get the van packed up, all empty and ready to go. It's time to get to Villadon. It's Thursday afternoon, March the 30th. Our fishing trip starts in a couple of days on the 1st of April. Got to get down to Folkestone first thing in the morning. We've got about a 7:30 crossing, or 7 o'clock crossing, splits us out in Calais at about 8:30. I've got to pick up my buddy at 4 o'clock in the morning in Croydon, who's coming with me, Andy. So I need to get up about 2 o'clock in the morning. So I've got to get the van packed up, gear in, and try and get some kip. We're meeting our buddies Mikey B and Jake, his mate, over at Villadon, and we're all going to kip out on the green by the car park on Friday night. So we've got a fresh start Saturday morning. We'll have a few beers, get some kip. But be nice and refreshed for Saturday morning. We could have driven through the night on Friday, but we've done that before with France. The roads are dark and they never seem to end, and it's quite hard work going through the night, so we decided to take the extra day to get down there. There's no rush, we can stop on the way, grab some food and have a stretch. And as long as we're there by 6 o'clock in the afternoon, Paul and the gang are happy for us to stay overnight. And be first in line to get boats and get our gear out to our pegs. We're fishing 2 pegs, 6 and 7. You have to pre-book your pegs, so a little bit different to what we used to. You either get out there and draw for your pegs, or go and have a wander and grab whatever's free. But this time you have to pick your peg. So we've never been there before. We don't know whether 6 and 7 are good, bad, or indifferent. We've just got to make the most of them. I think you can move if there's spaces, but everyone goes to their designated pegs first and then you take it from there. So yeah, first trip for us. We don't really know what to expect. There's plenty of big fish in there, 60 pluses. We could all come home with new PBs. Mine's just over 50, Andy's is about 55, and Mike's is just under 50, so all potential to come home with new PBs, but realistically we're not expecting that. If we come home with a couple of 40s, we'll be pleased. And it'll be a good trip, but let's go with open minds and just have fun. Let's get on the road. Can't wait to get out there. It's been months of planning, hours and hours of conversation, and we're all getting really excited now. It's finally here, so yeah, let's get on our way. Wicked, can't wait. Here we are then, Lac de Villadon, second day. Yesterday was a bit of a start-up day, weather was a bit on and off. Managed to get set up early afternoon and rods in. Picked a few spots out in front. A couple of little knocks last night, but nothing from us. Got our friends over on the far bank, Mikey and Jake. Mikey had 2 out, 25 and 35 last night. Jakey lost one this morning. There's been a few out on the far bank. Guys over there have had a couple in 5. 4's had 1, I think. And then you've got 3, 2, Danwall down the end. Danwall's been producing, I think a German family are in there. I think they've had about 20 out so far over the 2 weeks they've been here. But we're hopeful. Wind's blowing in towards us, northwesterly, northeasterly, not too heavy. We've got 4 markers out there, so we've got an angle on the left going close in, only about 40 yards out to about 80 yards. So we've got 2 rods in between there. Bit of a flat arrow shape at the front at about 70-80 yards. Another 2 in there. And then another marker down there, so that's another 40 yard, 50 yard maybe. So we've got a kind of flat arrow shape, 6 rods in there, 2 between each marker. And then we're going to put 1 out either side to the left and right on the 4th rod. It's been nice today, had a bit more rain yesterday, but not too sunny. Spawned last week, which we were quite surprised about. Turned up on the 31st of March and were told that they'd been spawning for 2 days, about 90% of the fish. It's a bit of a shock, but they did have some really hot days at the end of March. Temperatures up to nearly 30, so fish switched on spawning. But luckily for us, the night we came on the Friday night, camped out, tipped it down. We were in a avid screen house, so 4 beds in there, just about, kept dry. And it kind of switched the spawning off for us from the start, and they've started coming out again. So we've got, you know, second night, but our first real night with some spots picked and some bait out. Camp's good. My bivvy on this side, screen house in the middle, just for all of our creature comforts, cooking and what's not. Andy's bivvy there. 2 4-rod pods. And we're just waiting for the bites to come. We'll keep you posted. Let you have some pickies hopefully soon. Looks nice tonight. Not too hot, not too windy, blowing in towards us. Bait's out, not too much. Over a big area. Not cutting off the lake anywhere. Nice sort of flat arrow shape going out to the middle, across and back in. So yeah, doing all the things that we think we should be doing. Boats there, come from the dam wall down there, so not too far. Other end of the lake's a bit of a trek, about just over 2 kilometres down there, so shallow end's right that end, up that end, so a bit of a trek on the boat if you're up there. But yeah, we'll keep you posted. Just wanted to record this one for my 3 boys and my wife at home, just to let them know that I've got my lucky Lego men on the rods. I got Joe's Ferrari driver there, Logie's policeman, and the wife, and Tennyson's, whatever he is, fire chief or another policeman or something. Yeah, so they're my lucky charms. Not been so lucky so far. Okay, so it is Monday and we're just resting the swim at the moment. Rods are out. Taking the advice of the owner, push the rods out a little bit further today. We had one last night, 31-13 mirror, which was nice, about midnight. Our mates Mikey and Jake have had a 44 over on the far bank there. Fish seem to be closer in on that side of the lake. They're at 7. 6 is empty, 5 is opposite us. They've had a couple out. 4 I don't think has. 3 has had 1, I think. Guys down in 20 just past us there have had 1 or 2, but they seem to be holding up further out, closer to the other bank. So we've got out in the boat and moved our markers back about 20 yards, still with a sort of flat V layout. So we've got 1 marker there, a couple at the front a bit further out, and then a 4th marker a bit further back. We've put a bit of bait out today. Seems to be pulling fish in on other pegs, although a bit of an argument about whether to bait up heavily or not, but first time here, so we're following what seems to be working. Yeah, so rods are out, or rods are on the pod but not fishing at the moment. Just having a cup of tea. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and he's got the kettle on, and we're going to get the rigs out and see what tonight brings. Same tactics really, fishing just in front of the posts, or the marker posts, which you can get here. We got the lights on the top from the shop last night as well, because it's quite difficult to find the poles in the middle of the night when you need to get your rods back out. So €5 a pop, and they stay on at night, which is quite handy. We're not fishing up to them, we're fishing about 10 yards in front. No risk of the lines getting caught on them, because they're just long floating poles with the weight at the bottom, so if the line goes around them it just bends the pole over and comes off the top. All other markers are banned, so that's your only option. Yeah, so we'll keep you posted. Hopefully we'll have some more pickies to put on tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we're ready. Let's go.
Come on then, what are you doing? Great. Right, tip its head around a bit. That's it. Lovely. Pictures. Yeah, good. Want the other side? Yeah, the other side's got well on it. Let's get a couple more before you go. Just to make sure.
On the other side?
If you want. We'll keep this side good. Yeah, let's do another one. Try and roll them around a little bit. No, top right at the end. Just spin it round so it heads this way a bit more. That's it.
There's the cork stuff.
Empty.
Rightio then, little update for Tuesday afternoon. A little change of plan. We've decided to put a rod out on PVA. Little chat with the bailiff suggested that bloodworm are popping up and there's a bit of fry coming out of places, and they'll probably be looking for naturals, so he suggested going light on the big amounts of boilies and pellets, putting a PVA bag in just with some crumb and some sort of 2mm pellets and see whether they'll pick that up. So 3 rods out as normal, 1 with a PVA bag, and we'll see what happens tonight. Our mates over at 7 have moved down the lake, right down the end. It's been fishing well down there the last couple of days. Dutch group had 14 fish out yesterday at swim 15, which is a blinder session. Be happy with that for the week. We're still in the centre part of the lake. Our markers are still in the same position as yesterday. We've put less bait in today. In fact, we haven't been out on the boat to put bait in. We've only put what's gone in the bait boat, and that's crushed up fine boilies and pellets, so no substantial amount of large foods for them other than the rigs. And we'll see whether we can tease another one out. Andy had a 41.5 last night, so they're getting bigger. So we're up to 3 fish, which isn't a lot for this place. You could easily be in double figures by now.
but it is location. The centre part of the lake is more of a highway for them. The deep end, or the other end, the far end of the lake, which is much shallower, are usually the areas that fish hold up. The centre part is a good lake to pick them up on the move, and the wind has been moving quite a lot from northwest to northeast, and sometimes even more easterly, and the wind is meant to move them here, so I'm sure they're out there. We've still got half a week left. We'll give you a report in the morning. So Andy, tell us why it's all going wrong.
Yet again, we're in the wrong place.
Wednesday afternoon, waiting for dinner to arrive on the boat, and still waiting for a bite. Bit depressing at the moment. Our mates have had a storm, are up the lake. Number 12, 8 fish out last night. Guy down from them, number 12. He's had a load out. Guy's on 15 and 19 fish out or something today. Chaps over on 9, which is opposite 15, have had nothing. 8's had nothing. Guys opposite us in 5 have had 5 all week, so they're 2 ahead of us. Guy over in 4's had nothing today either. So it's really obvious this end of the lake is just not fishing. Not too sure what's happening down at the dam. Haven't seen anything come out of 20, which is just along the bank. We did have a boat arrive in our swim today, which blew across from the other side of the lake, took Andy's lines out, which was exciting. So yeah, 3 days to go. Losing a little bit of hope. We were going to try and get over to 10. Someone beat us to it. Well, they already had a tent in there. They were fishing in 17 for a couple of days. We would have crept in front of them, but they were already there. And the only other swims available are 6 and 7, which haven't been producing anything really. Our mates moved from 7. And number 2. And Terry's moved from number 2 up to 12, and he's having a stormer. But had nothing out of 2. So we're still hoping that at some point the fish will start moving down the lake and past the centre point. Decided today to put all 8 rods out with PVA mesh sticks, crushed up boilies, not a lot of substantial stuff in there, and just our pop-ups or bottom baits to try and grab a bite. But we ain't impressed, are we, mate?
Nope. Not when everyone else is having it off up there.
Camp's doing well though. It's like being camping rather than fishing. And the boat will arrive with dinner shortly. Chicken and chips. So something to look forward to.
Forget all your sorrows, forget your sins. Come get what I have in me, girl. Forget all your troubles, forget your I'm telling you, it's my heart that I have for you. Now you have the key. Forget all your sorrows, forget your sins. Come get what I have in me, girl. Forget all your troubles, forget your I'm telling you, it's my heart that I have for you. Now you have 'cause I'm in love with you, yeah. Yes, I'm in love with you, yeah. I'm in love with you, yeah. I'm in love with you.
Okay then, a little update on Wednesday. It's Wednesday, isn't it? Thursday. We're Thursday. 4 runs today. Not quite the runs we wanted. Last one was a duck, so that came by surprise. Had to sort that out. And this morning I had 3 runs, which were 2 cats, small ones, and a 12-pound mirror. So not quite what we were hoping for. A little bit of action, but we're still waiting for the biggies to come. Saw some fish showing today and heard some topping last night, and it looks like the shallow end of the lake that was doing really well has slowed down, and we've seen 3 swims opposite us in the last few hours all catch. So we think the wind, which has been blowing up to sort of 40-mile-an-hour gusts today, has pushed the fish down a bit, although they're still holding up very much at the shallow end. But they are, I think, spreading out across the lake a bit now. So we just got our fingers crossed for tonight. Let's see what tonight brings. We're still pretty much fishing the same distances and areas. Put a bit more bait in today instead of relying on the sticks alone. The 3 that we did catch at the beginning of the week were all over bait, so we've put a bit more in on the top spots. Put 4 rods over the top area with bait on, and 2 either side with not so much, and sticks on them. So we're covering all angles really. Seem to be picking up bottom baits more for us and for our mates that are up the lake. So we've got 4 bottom baits each out, a couple of wafters and 2 on the bottom. All the pop-ups are being not being used now, so we shall see what tonight brings. Hopefully they're in the area and we pick up a couple on the move down the deeper end, but we'll keep you posted.
Yeah. I think it's... leg 30.
Feels heavy when you pick it up, though. Shouldn't think so. It's what we had it on before.
Ready to rock and roll?
Yep, I'm ready. other side. Yep. Tilt it a bit more round. So. Like that, yeah, with the, just roll it round a little bit more. No, bottom down to the top. That's it, that's it. That's good, that's better. Well. That's a good picture. Yeah. Here we are then, last day at Villadon. It's Friday morning, 8 o'clock. We had some success last night. 2 fish out on Andy's rods, a 34-13 and a 36-13. 2 nice dumpy mirrors. We had a slight change of plan, not too different to what we were doing, but brought 2 of Andy's rods in so they were closer into the bank at about 60-70 yards, and they were the 2 that went. The other 6 were still out towards the middle of the lake that we both had each, so we had 4 at the front, 2 stepped back, which were the 2 that went on Andy's rods, and my other 2 were sort of still at an angle but further out. And we think that because the wind was really howling down the lake yesterday from the other end, which has been fishing really well, which is down there. You can see the angle on the top of the water, which way the wind's blowing. It's kind of blowing towards us and down towards the deeper end of the lake down there. We just felt that the fish were going to be moving out of the shallow end, and we did see all three pegs on the other side of the lake, which is 3, 4 and 5, all catching quite close in. So we didn't know whether they were holding up on that side of the lake, but we did feel that they were closer in, and thought they're probably just patrolling through our centre section of the lake and maybe heading down towards the dam end, which is where the wind's been blowing for a couple of days. So that paid off. I'm still on 2 small carp at 24 something and 12, plus the 2 catfish, and Andy's had 3 30s, a 40 and a mid-20, so I think we did the right thing last night, but it's difficult on the last day. I feel the pressure now, and I'd like to have another one out that's a bit bigger. So I think today we're going to leave 1 long in the middle, and bring 3 back either side at an angle. We put more bait in at the top last night, which we had nothing on, and then the side ones, which did go on Andy's side, we did have quite a bit more bait in the hopper, some freebies and sticks, so we're just trying to pull them in. We added quite a lot of Robin Red to the mix yesterday as well. We did think that the redness would be nice to have in there if they're searching out the bloodworm at the top, which is what we think they're doing. Whether that had any effect on it, especially at night, but we're going to add a lot of Robin Red today just to try and get that colour up, the redness on the bottom. So we're into the last sort of 24 hours now. This time tomorrow we'll be packing up the boat and heading back down, filling the van up. I'm going to take a few bits down today that we don't need for today and tonight, just to reduce what we've got to move down the lake tomorrow. It is a bit of a process getting everything down. Even when you're fishing light, you've probably got 2 boatloads, but we've come with a few extra creature comforts just to be comfortable for the week. So we did 3 boatloads up, probably be 2 back tomorrow. If we can do 1 today, that'd be good. So yeah, bacon's on. I'm going to sit down and try and hatch a plan together for today, and hopefully a couple more before we pack up in the morning. Right, here we are, final evening and last night of our Villadon week. Today hasn't been any more fruitful than most of the days we've been here. Nothing out today. We've had the rods in since about midday, brought them in closer, just looking around the lake. Looks like fish have been coming in, not on the centre line but closer in, but we've had nothing today. The far bank has fished well again, so swim 3 in front there, 4 and 5 have all had fish out today, and looking at where their boats have been going, fairly close in and down the margins. Our mates up the top end of the lake haven't had anything for 2 nights, so the period of time that they had fish in front of them was quite short-lived. But we've got one night left, and we had 2 out last night, or Andy did. This is what we've been fishing for all week. It's our little trophy for the week. Yeah, there we go. It looks like it's going home with Andy this time. The last 2 have come home with me, so he's deserved it this time. But you never know. Still 1 night to go. We play for largest fish, so he's got it at 41.5, I think. You never know, could pull out a 40 something a bit bigger and add it to the other 2 I've got, but
don't feel very confident with that at the moment. If we can sneak another 1 or 2 out tonight, then that'll be about 9 or 10 fish this week, including the 2 little catfish, which weren't that welcome, but they are in here deliberately. They're not nuisance fish really, they are here to control the levels of the silverfish, along with the pike and the zander and the black bass that have been put in to keep the poisson chat and silverfish down. So yeah, you're bound to catch them at some point. But we've put our sticks out with a lot of robin red in again, and just staggered the arc of the baits inside our markers. So we're probably fishing between 40 and 60 yards out, which is a lot closer than we've been fishing in the middle of the week. But again, really haven't seen anything show from here. A few people have moved around, a couple of guys have actually gone tonight instead of in the morning. So we've packed up a bit of our gear and that's in the van already, and we've got to be down at the jetty and off site by about 9 o'clock in the morning. So we might have some good news to share in the morning. If not, it'll be a case of packing up and heading home. But we've had a good week. We've learnt a lot about the lake. It does appear to be a bit of a lottery ticket with regards to where you fish. You can't really do much about moving around the lake. If there's free swims, you can move into them, but there's no track around it. You know, you've got to get your boat loaded up, and if you've got a bit of gear, or there's a couple of you, it's a couple of boat loads up and down the lake. You've got to go and check with the bailiffs first that you can move, and a couple of times we've thought about moving, there's already people on their way to those swims. So there isn't as much freedom as you'd have on some lakes, where you could pretty much back your van up, chuck your gear in and off you go. This is a little bit more difficult, so you pick your swim before you get here, which is unusual. You can't really come to the water and have a look around and decide where you're going to fish. It's all predetermined. So in that respect, it is a bit of a lottery ticket. And this is such a big lake, sort of over 2 kilometres from end to end. The fish have been holding up over a mile away from us. So if they're not in your area, you've just got to make the most of what you've got. And this part of the lake's meant to be a good area to catch them on the move, but they just haven't been moving. So it's been a difficult one, but I think we'd come back again. It's more a case of being prepared to do the boating up and down the lake to do anything, rather than the fishing itself. But I think, you know, whatever you do, you come with a predetermined swim, and you get lucky or you don't get lucky. So yeah, great place, lovely setting, nice people, great grub. Not so many fish this week for us, but we've seen what it can be like. You know, people have had over 60 fish out this week. The guys opposite us are here for 3 weeks. They had 30 in their first week, only 11 this week, and they've still got a week to go, and they're regulars, so I think they've seen it, you know, from every angle. Yeah, but it's been a good week. We've enjoyed ourselves, had a bit of a social, had a few fish out. So let's look forward to the last night. Hopefully we've got something to share with you in the morning. But until then, right, final morning. Gear's all on the floor, just ready to get the rods in. Nothing happened last night, so that's the end of our trip. Lovely start to the week for the next guys in.
But that's it. Until the next time.
All I know is I just need her. All I know is you just need her. All I know is we just need her. All I know is you just need her.
Running back. Because I'm awfully deceiving. I always say I'm fine, but that's not the true meaning. The walls are caving in and it leaves me with feelings, but the only one that matters is I won't be defeated. They'll keep talking, pray that I lost it. I keep it cool, my attitude stay frosted, and I'm intending to bring a revolution. There far too many problems, but far few solutions. So let's march towards the hills. Let's march with the dreams to be fulfilled. The pen is letting, I'm making them sign a bill. Letting out the future is haunting me still. And all I know is I just need her. All I know is you just need her. All I know is we just need her. All I know is you just need her.
All I know is you just need her. All I know is I just need her. All I know is you just need her. All I know is we just need her. All I know is you just need her. All I know is I just need her. All I know is you just need her. All I know is we just need her. All I know is you just need her.
Okay. See you later, mate.